Welcome back, learner. So today we're looking at, basically a digital invisible hand.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Right. Because in 2024, there was one single platform that quietly processed over $9.3 billion in sales.
Which is just a massive number.
And that was over a single holiday weekend without a single hiccup. You've almost certainly bought something through it. You've interacted with the interface, but you probably never even saw its name.
Oh, exactly. Most people haven't.
So today we are peeling back the curtain on this invisible engine that's powering the modern e-commerce world. We're talking about Shopify.
Yes, we are.
And we're working from a really comprehensive source document today, simply titled How Shopify Store Works. And our mission for this deep dive is to basically extract the absolute signal from the noise for you.
Right, getting past the PR.
Exactly. We're going to strip away all the marketing speak to understand the real architecture, the true compounding costs, and, frankly, some of the hidden limitations of the platform, too.
Because there definitely are some.
So, okay, let's unpack this. I was thinking about how to explain managed infrastructure and think of setting up a Shopify store, like leasing a fully staffed, high-end retail space.
Okay, I like this.
Right, but it's in a massive, state-of-the-art digital shopping mall. You, as the business owner, you just bring your products. You arrange the window display.
Yeah, the fun stuff.
Exactly. But they're the ones handling the plumbing, hiring the security guards, updating the cash registers, repaving the parking lot, all of that. You never actually have to touch the building's underlying infrastructure.
That is honestly the perfect way to visualize managed infrastructure, and it's exactly why this platform matters so much to you, the learner, whether you're just a consumer clicking buy or an entrepreneur trying to build a brand.
Right.
To really validate your digital mall analogy, we need to look at the sheer scale of what they've built here.
The numbers are pretty wild, right?
Oh, they're staggering. We're talking about a platform that holds a 28% market share in the e-commerce space. Yeah, and for context, they are comfortably beating out their biggest competitor, which is WooCommerce. WooCommerce sits at about 23%.
So they're the clear leader.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shopify is currently powering over 4.8 million active stores, and that's spread across more than 175 countries.
4.8 million. That's just, it's hard to wrap your head around.
It is. And just to put a dollar figure on that footprint, in 2024 alone, they generated $8.88 billion in revenue.
$8.88 billion.
Yeah. So, I mean, this isn't just a software tool anymore, right? It's a fundamental piece of global commercial infrastructure.
Yeah, it really is. But what really fascinates me is the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
Because if it's the exact same platform powering, like, a weekend side hustle selling hand-painted snowboards out of a garage.
Right, a tiny store.
Right. And it's also the exact same platform powering massive, multinational, publicly traded cosmetics brands. Like, how is that technically possible?
It's a great question.
How does one single system flex that much? Well, to answer that, the source guide breaks down how a store is built into 6 distinct layers. And there's this principle here that really unlocks the whole concept for me. The architecture intentionally separates what you sell from how you sell it.
Yes, that separation of concerns is totally the secret sauce of the entire platform.
Okay, break that down for us.
So those 6 isolated layers you mentioned are the storefront, the admin, the checkout, the data, the API, and the infrastructure.
Right.
And by keeping those functions completely isolated from one another, the platform can be infinitely flexible and customizable for the developers on the front end.
Without breaking the back end.
Exactly, without ever breaking the core functionality or the security for the everyday merchant.
Right, so let's make this visual. Think of a Shopify store kind of like a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
The storefront, that's the dining room. It's the decor, the menus, the music. It's what the customer actually sees and interacts with.
Yeah, the front of house.
Exactly. Then the admin and data layers, that's the kitchen, right? They're managing the inventory, keeping track of what ingredients are left, storing the recipes. And the infrastructure layer, that's the building management. They're making sure the lights never go out, the water stays running, the structural integrity of the building is solid.
What's really fascinating here is how bulletproof that infrastructure layer, the building management in your analogy, actually is.
Yeah, because merchants don't see it.
Right. Because Shopify is fully cloud-based, they handle all the really heavy lifting in the background. They manage the global load balancing, which just means ensuring the site loads fast anywhere in the world.
Right, whether you're in Tokyo or New York.
Exactly. And they handle the DDoS protection, which, if you aren't familiar, acts like a massive team of digital bouncers at the door.
Keeping the bad guys out.
Yeah, instantly recognizing and blocking malicious bot traffic that's just trying to crash your site.
Which is huge.
It is. Because merchants aren't managing their own physical servers, Shopify is able to offer a 99.99% uptime service level agreement.
Which is basically perfect uptime.
Essentially, yeah. And to give you a sense of what that looks like under extreme stress, we can go back to that $9.3 billion figure from Black Friday and Cyber Monday of 2024.
Oh, right, the holiday weekend.
Yeah. During that tiny, chaotic, extremely high-traffic shopping window, Shopify's infrastructure processed all those billions without a single widespread crash.
Wow.
I mean, no independent merchant on Earth could afford to build and maintain a server network capable of handling that kind of traffic spike on their own.
No, of course not. So the building management, the skeleton, is flawless.
Absolutely.
But because that infrastructure is entirely hidden, the customer, and honestly, often the merchant, only ever interacts with the dining room, the storefront.
Right.
And because that storefront is the only thing the customer sees, merchants are faced with this massive architectural choice right out of the gate. How do you actually build that room?
And that's where it gets complicated.
Yeah, the source material details two completely different approaches here.
Right.
First, you have what's called Online Stir 2.0, and that uses a templating language called Liquid. It allows for visual drag-and-drop customization. It's fast, it's relatively easy, and it gets a brand to market really quickly.
Yeah, it's very approachable.
But then you have this second option called Hydrogen, and this is Shopify's framework for what the industry calls headless commerce.
Headless, right.
Yeah, and it's deployed on a hosting platform called Oxygen. Now, Hydrogen uses a framework called React. Think of it as a set of highly flexible digital building blocks that lets developers build incredibly fast, entirely custom storefronts without relying on any of Shopify's preset templates.
Total freedom.
But I kind of have to push back on this headless concept.
Okay, why?
If Hydrogen and React give a merchant, pixel-perfect control, incredibly fast load times, and totally unique interactive features, why wouldn't every single brand just use that? Like, why use templates at all?
Well, that is the ultimate architectural dilemma for a growing brand. And honestly, it really comes down to resource trade-offs.
Money, basically.
Money and talent. Themes built on Liquid are incredibly cost-effective. You do not need to hire an engineering team to launch a beautiful mobile responsive store.
Right.
A marketer or founder can just use the visual editor, drag and drop some sections, change the fonts, and boom, launch a business over a single weekend.
It's like Squarespace or something.
Very similar experience, yeah. Hydrogen, on the other hand, is a completely different beast.
How so?
Headless commerce means you are completely severing the front end from the back end,
Okay.
which means you are responsible for building and maintaining the entire user experience from scratch. You need dedicated front-end React developers on staff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Or you need a high-end agency on an expensive monthly retainer. Hydrogen is specifically designed for enterprise brands with very complex, bespoke design needs.
So not the weekend side hustle.
Definitely not. Or it's for companies managing a multi-brand architecture.
What does that mean?
Like where they want several different custom storefronts in different countries, but they want all of them feeding into one centralized Shopify backend. For the vast majority of businesses, the massive cost and the complexity of Hydrogen it doesn't make sense.
Okay, that clarifies it. It's kind of like the difference between buying a very nice pre-built modular home
Yes.
versus hiring an elite architectural firm to pour a totally custom concrete foundation.
Exactly.
But here is the brilliant part of the design, and the source makes this really clear. Whether a brand uses a simple, $100 liquid theme,
Yeah.
or they spend $500,000 on a complex headless Hydrogen build,
Right.
the ultimate goal of that storefront is to funnel the customer to the exact same destination, the checkout.
Always.
Like the storefront is the marketing, but the checkout is the math.
Precisely. And Shopify's checkout layer is arguably the most optimized piece of commercial software on the internet.
Really? The most optimized?
I'd argue yes. It natively handles the payment processing, the really complex tax calculations, live shipping rates, and the fraud detection, all in one highly secure flow.
And it does that for every store.
Yes. They have their own native processor, Shopify Payments, which is actually powered by Stripe in the background. But they also integrate with over 100 third-party payment gateways globally.
Wait, so if the checkout is exactly the same for a local mom-and-pop shop as it is for a giant enterprise brand, what is actually powering that insane efficiency?
Well, that's where we get to the magic bullet.
Right, the guide focuses heavily on a specific feature called Shop Pay.
Yes.
This is their one-tap checkout solution. It remembers your shipping address, your credit card, everything.
And it's brilliant.
It's like, think of Shop Pay like a universal VIP fast pass at a massive amusement park.
I love that.
Once you take the time to set up your profile at one single ride, right, or in this case, one Shopify store, you suddenly get to skip the line at any of the 4.8 million other Shopify stores on the planet.
You're just instantly in.
Exactly. You just get a text with a 6-digit code, you punch it in, and your order is complete.
And if we look at the actual data behind that VIP FastPass, the results are just staggering. ShopPay is up to 4 times faster than a standard guest checkout flow.
4 times?
Yeah. And because it removes all of that friction, preventing a customer from having to type in a complicated billing address on a tiny mobile screen while, walking down the street.
Right, fighting with autocorrect.
Exactly. It boosts checkout-to-order conversion rates by up to 50%.
Wait, 50%? That's insane.
It is arguably the single biggest revenue lever on the entire platform.
Yeah.
And it works purely because of the network effect. Over 100 million buyers have already opted into ShopPay.
100 million?
Yeah. So when you launch a brand new Shopify store today, you instantly get access to those 100 million pre-saved wallets.
That feels almost like an unfair advantage.
It's a huge advantage, and this is exactly why the checkout customization is completely locked down for standard users.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Unless you are paying $2,300 a month for the enterprise-level Shopify Plus plan, you cannot change the checkout layout or inject custom scripts.
Okay, why?
People constantly complain about it, but Shopify locks it down to protect that highly optimized, secure flow. They manage the strict PCI compliance, which is the rigorous legal standard for protecting credit card data.
Right.
And they simply don't want a merchant's messy code breaking the most important step of the buyer's journey.
Okay, so they're essentially protecting the merchant from themselves.
Basically, yes.
But if the checkout is this walled garden that we can't touch, how do merchants actually customize the functionality of their stores?
Well, that brings us to the Shopify App Store.
Right, and this is where we uncover a major trap.
Oh, a huge trap.
The source notes, there are over 8,000 apps available. You want SMS marketing? There's an app. Subscriptions, loyalty programs, product reviews. There are dozens of apps for each.
Literally an app for everything.
So my immediate instinct as a business owner would be to just load up on these apps, right? Like if I want a loyalty program, SMS marketing, and one of those spin-to-win discount wheels.
We all love the wheel.
Right. I should just install them all to maximize my sales. It feels like building a sports car. You just keep bolting on bigger turbos, better brakes, cooler spoilers, until you have the ultimate machine.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, your sports car analogy actually proves the exact opposite point.
Really? How?
If you bolt way too many heavy aftermarket parts onto a sports car, the vehicle becomes so weighed down that the engine can't pull it and it handles terribly on the track.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. This introduces the concept of app bloat.
App bloat.
Right. Every single time you install an app that interacts with the customer, what we call a storefront-facing app, it injects JavaScript into your site's code.
Okay, and JavaScript is heavy.
It is functionally very heavy. It takes real time for a customer's web browser to download and execute it. If you have an app for a spinning discount wheel, an app for a countdown timer, an app for a chat widget, and an app for pop-up reviews, your page speed will absolutely plummet.
It just grinds to a halt.
Exactly. And a slow page speed directly kills the customer experience and destroys your SEO rankings on Google.
Google hates slow sites.
They penalize them heavily. The source highlights a golden rule here. Merchants need to rigorously audit their store quarterly and keep their active storefront-facing apps strictly under 15.
Under 15. So you bolt on too many parts, the car gets heavy, and you just lose the race.
Exactly.
But the danger of app bloat isn't just to the page speed, right? It's a direct danger to the merchant's wallet.
Oh, totally.
And this leads us to the biggest misconception we found in the source material about the entire platform, the actual true cost of running it.
Yes, the financials.
Because, you look at the pricing page and you see the basic plan is just $39 a month.
Which sounds great.
It sounds incredibly cheap for a global infrastructure. But the guide is very clear that sticker price is basically an illusion.
Exactly. It is just an entry fee, not the total cost of ownership. The source breaks down the real financials, and it turns out the core plan fees only account for about 5% to 15% of a store's total monthly spend.
Wow, 5 to 15%.
Yeah. If we walk through the growth stages, you see how incredibly fast it compounds. A starter store might actually cost $40 to $100 a month when you factor in buying a domain and maybe adding one premium app.
Okay, it's still manageable.
Sure, but a growth store, so one making between $10,000 and $100,000 a month in revenue, is actually spending between $750 and $3,000 a month on the platform.
Wait, up to $3,000 a month?
Yeah. And a scale store, they can easily spend up to $15,000 a month. And that is before we even talk about the hidden penalties.
Wait, let me stop you there. $15,000 a month just to keep the website running.
Basically, yes.
So what does this all mean for you, the learner, as a potential merchant? Is Shopify intentionally hiding the ball here to trap people into expensive ecosystems, or is this just the cold, hard reality of doing business online?
Honestly, it is entirely the reality of scaling a complex business.
Okay.
The core infrastructure, the servers, the security, the hosting we talked about, that genuinely is cheap. That's your $39 a month.
Nice.
What you are actually paying for as you grow is business complexity. The compounding math from the source really paints the picture here.
Walk me through it.
Let's say you want to compete with modern brands. You add a loyalty program app that's $50 a month. You need a solid product reviews app that's $15.
Okay, 65.
You want post-purchase upsells, add $30. You need SMS marketing to reach customers on their phones, that's another $50.
Wow.
Suddenly, you have turned a $39 platform into a $200 plus monthly bill, and you haven't even made a single sale yet.
Wow.
You aren't really paying for Shopify, you're paying to assemble a tech stack.
That makes a lot of sense.
And then you have those hidden fees you mentioned. If you decide you don't want to use Shopify payments and you use a third-party gateway like PayPal instead, Shopify slaps a 0.5% to 2% penalty fee on every single transaction.
Just for using PayPal.
Exactly. And if you're selling internationally, there is a 1.5% currency conversion fee. It adds up extremely quickly.
Okay, so as a business grows, maybe they have the budget to cover a $3,000 monthly tech stack.
Mm-hmm.
Money can solve the app costs, and it can hire the React developers we talked about earlier.
Sure.
But the guide explicitly points out that even with massive budgets on that Enterprise Plus plan, you cannot fix some of the platform's hard-coded bottlenecks.
No, you really can't. And transparency about these unchangeable limitations is vital when choosing a platform.
Here are the big ones.
First, the URL structure is fixed. Every single product will always sit at a URL that looks like /products/the product name.
Okay.
You cannot create custom, deeply nested URLs for complex store architectures. Second, the built-in blogging engine is incredibly basic. It lacks proper categorization and relies solely on tags.
Oh, so it's not a WordPress replacement?
Definitely not. Third, there is the reality of partial platform lock-in.
Which means?
If you build a beautiful custom storefront using their liquid templating language, and 5 years from now you want to move to a competitor, you can export your customer data, but you cannot take your store design.
Oh, you lose the theme.
You have to rebuild the front end entirely from scratch. And finally, there is a strict 100 variant limit per product.
Okay, I really want to pause on that 100 variant limit because reading that in the source caused genuine surprise for me.
It surprises a lot of people.
Let's say you are a custom furniture maker.
Right.
You sell one style of sofa, but that sofa comes in 5 different types of wood, 10 different fabric colors, and 3 different sizes.
Okay, standard options.
5 times 10 times 3 is 150 combinations. That means a single, relatively standard piece of furniture breaks Shopify's hard-coded limit.
Yes, it does.
Why does a platform that processes billions of dollars have such an archaic limitation?
It comes down to the underlying database architecture. Shopify was originally built on a relational database structure designed for simple, straightforward retail. Every time you add a product variant, say, a red shirt in size medium, the database has to generate a new, unique SKU row.
Oh, I see.
Allowing infinite variants for every product would cause the database queries to slow to an absolute crawl, especially during massive traffic spikes like Black Friday.
Yeah.
So they capped it at 100 to ensure the infrastructure remains lightning fast for everyone.
Wow. So to survive, that custom furniture maker is forced to go back to the App Store, spend more money, and buy yet another workaround app just to list their sofa properly.
Yeah, it is a very real friction point for businesses with complex catalogs. But this is where we have to synthesize these technical limits with what the source calls the honest take.
The honest take.
Right, your furniture maker will absolutely be frustrated by the variant limit, but they have to weigh that frustration against the alternatives. For over 90% of merchants, these trade-offs are entirely worth it.
How so?
The peace of mind of never having to manage complex PCI compliance to avoid massive legal fines, never having to hire an engineer to install critical server security patches at 2 a.m., and never having your database crash during your biggest sale of the year.
Right.
That far outweighs having a rigid URL structure or needing a $20 app to manage your sofa fabrics.
Yeah, it's all about knowing what game you're playing before you step onto the field. So let's wrap up what we've unpacked for you today.
It's been a lot.
It has. We've taken a journey through the invisible architecture of e-commerce. We explored that bulletproof 6-layer system that acts as the skeleton and nervous system, completely separating what you sell from how you sell it.
Right.
We navigated the very real dilemma between fast, simple liquid themes and complex, developer-heavy, headless builds. We uncovered the absolute magic of ShopPay and how it uses a massive network effect to boost checkout conversions by up to 50%.
Which is huge.
And importantly, we exposed the hidden realities. The danger of bolting on too many apps, the true compounding costs of scaling a business, and the hard-coded database limits you just have to accept. So learner, you now have a totally new lens through which to view almost a third of the e-commerce internet.
And as you look through that lens, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over, building on everything we've discussed today.
Let's hear it.
The source material highlighted the reality of partial platform lock-in, where you can't take your store design with you. But it also praised the incredible, massive network effect of those 100 million buyers actively using ShopPay.
Right.
It creates a fascinating paradox for the modern business.
Mm-hmm.
If Shopify's single biggest advantage for a merchant is this massive shared consumer network that magically boosts conversion rates, does a merchant actually own their customer base anymore?
Oh, wow.
Or, in the modern era of e-commerce, are business owners effectively just renting access to Shopify's massive consumer ecosystem?
That is a question that completely changes how you look at building a brand today. Thank you so much for joining us on this Deep Dive Learner. Keep questioning the digital infrastructure around you, and remember, the next time you effortlessly check out online, you aren't just buying a product. You're walking through a highly optimized, carefully managed digital mall. See you next time.